Bangladesh, sharing co-creating knowledge and experiences from Bangladesh and JICA cooperation. My name is Miura Mari, Senior Representative of JICA Bangladesh. We are delighted to have our audience here today. Now I would like to invite Mr. Ichiguchi Tomohide, Chief Representative, JICA Bangladesh, to deliver his opening remarks.
Good afternoon. Shubo Operano. Shobaike Shibecha or Shagoton. I'm very pleased to receive you here for JICA's session titled Smart City Development in Bangladesh, Sharing Co-Created Knowledge and Experience from Bangladesh JICA Corporation. You may be aware, this year is 50th anniversary of JICA's cooperation to Bangladesh. This is a kind of new addition to our memorable year of 2023. During 50 years, we have provided so many cooperations in various sectors, various areas of Bangladesh, covering different sectors, including education, health, disaster, risk reduction, energy, transportation, and so on and so forth. And these days, we are very known for our cooperation to infrastructure in urban areas, particularly Dhaka. And as you understand that the urban areas in Bangladesh have been facing so many difficult problems, including traffic congestions, air pollutions, and other issues. And that's the reason why we have this conference, international conference, and also in this session, we are going to share JICA's experience in Bangladesh to all audiences. One of the characteristics of JICA's cooperation is our cooperation is not one-way assistance. Our cooperation is always two ways. This is kind of co-creation and partnership between microphone is not working, I guess. Is it okay working? Yeah. So our cooperation is not just one-way cooperation. It's always the mutual cooperation, partnership between Japan and Bangladesh. That's why in this title, we said sharing co-created knowledge and experience. So based on our such experience with Bangladesh, we can share such co-created experience and partnerships. And also, you can learn the lessons and the good practices based on our, cooperation in Bangladesh. Finally, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to the Bangladesh Institute of Planning for hosting this kind of fantastic conference and providing the session for us. Also, State Minister of Planning for participating this session, and also moderators and the other speakers. I really hope this session could be wonderful opportunities to know JICA's co-created experience and knowledge, and also you can get a lot of learning from this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ichiguchi, for your encouragement speech. Now let me proceed to the presentations and panel discussion. Now let me invite today's moderator and speakers to the podium. So may I invite the presenters to the podium, please? So our moderator today is Dr. Mohamed Musre Widin Hassan, Professor, Urban and Regional Planning Department, Bangladesh University of Engineering and Technology, BUET. He is also an executive board member of BIP. Also, you can refer a brief bio of the speakers in your handout. So Professor Musre, if you are ready, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Miura-san. So Professor Musuddin Hassan, welcome you all to this very interesting session on smart city development in Bangladesh, sharing co-created knowledge and experiences from Bangladesh and JICA cooperation. Well, I am really amazed by the introduction by the chief representative, by his Bangla welcoming. So let me just show you my single word Japanese knowledge. I must say you konnichiwa, welcome, and good afternoon. So it's really a coincidence that we have a very interesting session led by the World Bank, where we had Japanese experience of development of Tokyo metropolitan city, transit-oriented development, waste management, this experience. And back to back right now we are having a session where we will have the session we learn about smart city development, particularly spatial data infrastructure development, metro rail development, building resilience issues, and also last session on urban-rural linkage issue. So you may be interested how and where smart city issues are here. But by this session, we want to mean that smart city is not only about ICT. Of course, ICT, AI, all these things are part and fundamental issues of smart city. But unless and until we have infrastructure, we have data infrastructure, we have our planning system, we have our urban and rural entities connected, and we have everything, but our buildings are not resilient, then what will be the use of this only ICT-led smart city development? So from that paradigm, we want to share with you through this panel discussion, that is the other components of smart city will include planning, will include spatial infrastructure development, will include resilience development, and also the linkages between urban and rural areas. That is the broader theme of this entire conference, that is spatial planning. So I am really delighted that we have Professor Shamsul Alam sir as the chief guest of this session. Since he is a teacher and I myself have a similar background, we used to say that is the teaching is not a one-way thing, teaching and learning. Here also we are saying the same thing. As our chief representative from JICA said, that is JICA is here is not only to assist, but to co-create knowledge. So in this session, we will hear from our panelists how we are co-creating knowledges in different fields where JICA is existing, Bangladesh, and also in different other parts of the country. So with that note, let me introduce our panelists one by one to deliver their presentations. May I remind you that is your maximum time for presentation is 10 minutes. So at first, let me invite Dr. Okatani Takaki for his presentation on National Spatial Data Infrastructure and SDI development in Bangladesh. Dr. Okatani Takanaki.
Distinguished executives, guests, and professors, Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm Takaki Okatani, JICA expert, chief advisor for NSDI, Bangladesh. And I'm very honored and pleased to have this opportunity to introduce the concept and aim of NSDI project to participants of VIP meeting, and what we've done so far, and what we need to do to establish a truly useful geospatial platform, NSDI, for the future Bangladesh. And I'd like to introduce the concept and essence of NSDI. NSDI is an infrastructure for sharing geospatial data, like maps, and their catalog information created by various entities. NSDI expected to be needed for spatial planning as geospatial data such as topographic maps, and indispensable for spatial planning and development as a very basic information. But currently, organizations are creating and storing different geospatial information separately, and this causes some problems. One is you don't know who has your necessary data. And the second is you have to contact the organization by yourself and ask for permission to use. And the last is you have to check the specification and quality of data before using. And as shown in this slide, we need a lot of data in various organizations for a certain purpose. And basically, we have to visit and ask for acquiring permission one by one for use. And now, there are various commercial geoportals, such as Google Maps and OpenStreetMaps, and so on. Yes, it's usable if you use a map for navigation to a certain shop or restaurant. But you need a catalog information for business purposes. For example, topic of data, area of data, scarcity of data, and so on. So, catalog system and data evaluation system are needed for geoportal for proper use. So, before going to mention about the cooperation history between JICA and Survey of Bangladesh briefly. Cooperation has started 30 years ago to install new geodetic system needed for mapping for Bangladesh. And then mapping of Dhaka city completed in 2004. And after that, Bangladesh government had decided to create a basic map for whole Bangladesh. This work was done for a decade. And after that, whole Bangladesh digital map created in 2018. And after that, currently, we have two projects now. One is this NSDI, and the other is GNS Quartz project. And I'm going to talk about the other project, GNS Quartz slide. Purpose of the project is to realize precise positioning in whole Bangladesh using global navigation satellite system, such as GPS by United States. This project is ongoing and will install 70 continuously operating reference stations in Bangladesh. So now we move on to the current NSDI project. This NSDI Bangladesh project has started in 2019 by Survey of Bangladesh under the initiative of Ministry of Defense, and JICA has been providing technical assistance through advices of experts and trainings. And I hope through this presentation we can share importance of utilizing various geospatial information in Bangladesh effectively. And this diagram shows the structures and image of the planned NSDI platform. And at the center of host server of NSDI system, the government organization and department will upload geospatial data to share. And in most cases, Sorry. And in most cases, those departments prepare several types of data. Some is for public and some is for confidential or something like that. And the data will be provided according to their data policy. And then there is utilizing processes of NSDI. At first, users have to search what kind of data is available through NSDI portal. And then, using their own data, they are going to overlay or analyze these data for their own purpose. And then, using the result of analysis or other result, they utilize such kind of result for their own activities. This is an example for using the data in NSDI platform and other originally prepared data. For example, this is a benchmark around a certain area, and this is an area photograph taken after the disaster event. And this is actually the big earthquake occurred in around 10 years ago in Japan. And by overlapping those data, we can predict inundation area by tsunami. And this is another case. And if we use satellite image and analyze in a proper way to estimate certain crop area, and if we combine basic data like boundary data all together, so we can predict certain area for a certain upogira like this. So if we use the data in NSDI portal and use the data prepared separately, we can combine and we can get new results for a certain purpose. And also, topographic maps and land use maps are useful for many cases. And this is the current situation of NSDI portal. Previously, JICA and Survey Bangladesh developed a prototype for NSDI portal in 2019. And we made some revision to that, and this is the current situation. And now, SOV is developing a new NSDI portal with the help of JICA experts. And the new portal will be disclosed to public maybe in 2024 June. It is end of this project. And this is the current status of NSDI project. I've shown the progress of current project here, and we'll promote this work toward the end of the project, June 2024. And this is the future of NSDI. First, geospatial information created by public organization will be gathered to the portal. And though such information will be used by public organization for rational and effective data sharing and utilization, some information will be also available to publics according to data holders policy. And NSDI expected to promote Digital Bangladesh by accelerating proactive use of existing geoportals as well as spatial data in various entities. And sooner approval of legal scheme, NSDI policy is important to promote NSDI activities. I hope NSDI truly useful and effective common geospatial platform for future Bangladesh. Thank you. Donobad.
Thank you, Dr. Okatani, for your brief presentation on NSDI framework and having a very brief on the history of your relation with Survey of Bangladesh. While we will be discussing and taking questions during the open discussion time, now let me invite Mr. Suman Dasgupta, Principal Program Manager, JICA Bangladesh. He will be delivering his presentations on long-term planning for Dhaka transportation system, Dhaka Metro Rail development. Mr. Suman Dasgupta.
Distinguished guest, good afternoon. I'm Shuman Dasgupta, Principal Program Manager of JICA Bangladesh office. So today I will actually, going to make presentation on the Dhaka Metro Rail, development. As you know, JICA is the major development partner of Dhaka's, urban transport. So in my presentation, actually, I will try to touch upon the following topics: the policy and plan, system and approach, technology and innovation, operation, and the last word. So if you allow me, just actually let me recap slightly on the Dhaka's urban transport issue and the policy and plan. Dhaka is the one of the most densely populated city in the world. Population density as of 2022 actually was 30,000 per square meter. Like other mega city, like the Mumbai, 25,577 per square kilometer. Whereas the Yokohama, Tokyo is far distance 4,584 square kilometer. So from this perspective, actually metro rail is the most obvious choice for urban transit of Dhaka. And as you know that in the year 2005, actually with World Bank support, the strategic transport plan was prepared, but STP has the 3 MRT and 3 BRT corridor. But after even approval of STP, actually it took some time for the development partner to come up, and JICA is the first one actually who came up for the solution of the traffic congestion issue of Dhaka's traffic congestion. So first, since STP actually it was there was a list of project, but there was no priority was set. So in order to identify the priority, from the year 2009 to 2010, actually JICA conducted Dhaka Urban Transport Network Development Study, and through that study it was found that the MRT line 6, which is now under partial operation from Uttara North to Motijil, actually was identified as most the priority project. Then JICA conducted the feasibility study in 2011, and now MRT line 6 is I think partially opened with the JICA's assistance. So this actually this IC work is main theme. I think the especially the planning. So MRT line 6 is a transport project, and we believe that it is a driver for the special the planning. So after actually MRT line 6 project was made, the STP was updated and revised again in 2015, popularly known as Revised Strategic Transport Plan, or RSTP. And through RSTP, actually 5 MRT line and 2 BRT line was the recommended. And out of that, actually MRT line 1 and MRT line 5 is again JICA extended their support. So both the projects now under the implementation. So in this picture, actually you can see the according to RSTP, the MRT routes, 5 MRT routes. So this implementation of this 3 MRT line actually are highly positive step to cater for the huge transport demand on the corridor, as well as to improve the overall public transport system. And according to the project objective, actually these will contribute significantly to curbing the rapidly deteriorating air pollution of Dhaka. So in a nutshell, one is to reducing the establish a sustainable urban transport or public transport system in Dhaka city, and to minimize the air pollution of Dhaka. Then if I touch actually on the system and the approach, because while we begin our study, actually there is no institution for implementation of operation of the MRT. So with JICA's assistance, actually first the study was conducted, and the current MRT's operating company, Dhaka Mass Transit Company, was established. So in order to actually ensure more autonomy and flexibility, it was established as a company. So now this company is popularly known as DMTCL. It is a government-owned company. And also, actually, there was no legal framework and technical standard for operating the MRT. So JICA supported for preparation of the Material Act, Material Regulation, and also the technical standard of the Dhaka MRT. And the organogram of job description was of this operating company, Dhaka Mass Transit Company Limited, was also established through JICA's institutional building assistance study. And just not only MRT operation, we also wanted to ensure the safety of the passenger. So there was a capacity development program was taken with DMTCL for system safety of material operation. So for that, under DMTCL engineers and the drivers, station operators were trained both in Japan and Bangladesh for the safety of MRT. And because JICA supported also the smart IC card or the for the ticketing system. So together with DTC, Dhaka Transport Coordination Authority, a technical cooperation project was taken under the clearinghouse project for common fare collection. So I think the technology and innovation, maybe I think due to time limitation, I will not touch actually maybe all the issue, but just what I said that there is a continuous welded rails have been are there. Also to minimize actually the electricity uses, regenerative braking technology was the used, and a very modernized signaling system, communication-based traffic control (CBCT) system was used. And you may see that for the passenger safety, you have already experienced platform screen door was established, and there is a barrier-free design for the physically challenged the people. Now let me touch upon the operation. Dhaka Metro has state-of-art of technology, so it is rather straightforward to operation. But anyway, I think hassle-free operation solely depends upon the perfect maintenance, for which actually our operating company has to secure the proper the maintenance. So what we like to stress that maintenance must be given the topmost priority. Also, actually commercial success of any MRT depend on the two aspects. I think you are more specialist than me in this area. One is the last mile connectivity, to facilitate passenger coming to station and from the resident or workplace. So feeder bus service, the shuttle bus service, or the pick up and drop off service should be introduced, which has not been started. And one of the key important issues is station area development through TOD or transit oriented development. This will not increase only the ridership, but also support DMTCL for non-rail business opportunity. So to touch this actually issue, JICA is supporting Raju actually for the transit-oriented demand, the preparation of guideline for the transit-oriented demand, which technical cooperation is now ongoing. As for the MRT Line 6, of course, maybe I think I'll maybe try to touch most during the question and answer issue or discussion issue. But from the beginning to since now it is under operation, from planning to implementation, though we have faced many challenges, But I think we can say that the Dhaka Metro is on right track, and JICA is a actually comprehensive partner of Dhaka Metro. Will continue our support as and when required. Thank you.
Sumon? Well, you just presented entire history of, please have your seat. You just mentioned the entire history of MRT development, from the inception of the project idea to the implementation, investment, and also the right now, in fact, smart card integration and every other thing else. We look forward for further discussion during our open discussion part. Now let me invite Mr. Rafiqul Islam, Superintending Engineer, Design 1, Public Works Department, PWD, for his presentation on urban resilience planning and implementation, building safety. Mr. Rafiqul Islam.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. So, I will basically speak about the resilient building for resilient urban areas. So, urban resilience basically refer to the ability of urban system to mitigate, adapt, and to recover quickly from shocks and crises later. And actually, I think this is the third day about this session going on here. So almost everybody know here regarding urban resilience. So I will basically focus on other issues. The urban resilience main elements are the infrastructural, social, economical, and environmental. And I will focus on the infrastructural subject and basically on the building issues. And the threats for urban resilience are the earthquake, fire, flash flood that is happening in Sylhet and Chattogram, landslide, waterlogging, and many other also there. So here I also focus basically on the earthquake threat because this is a big threat waiting for us. So since the time is very short, I will speak basically on limited issues. The earthquake risk in Bangladesh, you know that the plate boundary is very adjacent to Bangladesh. And there is history of many large earthquakes, and also we have experienced frequent earthquake in very recent time within the Bangladesh and adjacent to our Bangladesh boundary. And this is the earthquake zoning map of Bangladesh National Building Code. And we see that the regarding earthquake consideration, the Bangladesh is basically divided into 4 zones, earthquake zones. The number 4 is the Sylhet is the most severe zone, and Khulna or Jashore is the most less severe or mild zone. So the earthquake, the subsoil is the subsoil characteristic is a big issue, and we know that the subsoil, though Bangladesh is a small country, but the subsoil is quite different from one area to other area. At Dhaka, the Dhaka clay is very good, but the field area around Dhaka is a big problem. I'll tell what is the problem there. And the soft clay in the Khulna is also another type of problem. And again, the subsoil of Chattogram and Sylhet is almost similar, but their problem is more dangerous because in the same building, some part of the building is on very dense sand, and at the same time, some part of the building is on the very soft soil or loose sand. And we see in the figure on the right side that the Dhaka is expanding on the field soil. So what is the problem with the soft soil? We see that the soft soil, the yellow line, in the hard soil, the earthquake force is low, and when the building is in the soft soil, the soil amplifies the ground motion. The acceleration amplifies several times. You see that the green line and the blue line, the force level is higher. So this is one problem. And on the soft soil, the building code restricts the lateral load resisting system of the building. So there are some lateral load resisting system. So building code say this type of building is suitable for here. And also building code also restrict the building height, limit the height. So height of the building is also maybe 50 meter up to height of this type of frame may be allowed here. So this is the problem. There is some restriction, and also in the not soft soil, in the field soil, the problem is another type of another problem, because our field soil is basically on the river deposited very fine sand and loose sand, and if the water table is high, during earthquake that soil liquefy, and a building may sink on that liquefied soil. So this is another type of problem. Many people think that in the field soil or the soft soil, the high-rise building is not should be restricted. Low-rise building should be allowed, but this is, I think, not correct. I disagree with that point, because if the soil is soft and liquefy, the low-rise building may also sink. And we see here that the road network, also the utility lines may be disrupted. So what can we do? When if area will feel the land developer shall improve the soil during development of the usually they only dump the soil. So my suggestion is that they will improve that soil and add that cost to the land when selling the plot. So because a person, when he buy a 5 katha or 10 katha land, he cannot develop that land because it needs heavy equipment for development of that land. But when a developer develop a big chunk of land, he can use this type of techniques to develop the whole area. And in that case, the building owner can construct any height of the building, and the road network and other utility line will be safe. That will not be damaged if the soil tends to liquefy, but that is difficult at that time. If the soil is improved, the liquefaction potentiality reduced. So in case of urban planning, I think this issue can be addressed, that the soft soil issue and the field soil issue. For that purpose, urban planner, the geotechnical expert, and the structure engineer can sit together and during their planning. And there is another type of problem.
Mr. Rafiqul Islam, may I draw your attention to make your presentation brief?
Okay, sorry. Okay. So another type of problem is that for building irregularity, there is for building construction there are various type of irregular building, and the most dangerous type is the soft story problem in Bangladesh. That the ground floor and the leftmost picture, the ground floor is open parking, and during earthquake, major damage happen on that soft story. So there are in the building code there are remedy what to do for the soft story problem. Okay. Now, okay, it's all right. And we know that our even not in the disaster time, our earth the gas lines usually frequently leakage. There are leakages, so we can imagine what can happen if earthquake happen. So my suggestion is that if the building is safe, then during earthquake there will be no damage or no significant damage on the building, and the post-disaster activities like the rescue, the debris removal, dead body management issue, that will reduce significantly. So our main objective should be is a earthquake resilient or any resilient structure. For that we should do two things. One is for new building we shall follow the BNBC National Building Code, and another issue for the existing building we shall evaluate those building and retrofit those building. For national building for enforcement of the National Building Code, we shall establish the Bangladesh Building Regulatory Authority, and we shall also establish the National Committee for Licensing of the Building Professionals. So I just this is some example of the retrofitting. This is a fire station building constructed in 1963, but we retrofitted the right side in 2013 after 50 years. So it will continue, I think, more several years. So this is a retrofitting case of the Bangladesh Meteorological Department Head Office. So this is our guidelines prepared with the assistance or cooperation with the JICA supported project. So this guidelines is available in the PWD website in publications tab. So anyone can download this. I think this will be helpful for the people here. And we also trained many engineers, private sectors and public sector engineers. So my last conclusion is that the whole Bangladesh shall be properly planned, because we found that in the building committee working at the district level, they do not know which area what kind of building they shall permit. We face that type of problem. So whole Bangladesh shall be planned, and that should be approved, and that should be executed properly. And as I mentioned, that the BRA and NCLPP shall be established, and there must be pre-disaster and post-disaster preparedness, and we shall have contingency plan also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rafiqul Islam. You have rightly pointed out that is only making a building, single building safe is not enough. We want to, or we have to make the entire country or entire space of the country safe and resilient. And for that purpose, we need both engineering solutions as well as the planning, governance, and also licensing and all other issues. Maybe we will be discussing these things later on. So let me go for the final presentation to be presented by Mr. Abu Muhammad Shahriar, Project Director and Superintending Engineer, Northern Bangladesh Integrated Development Project, NOBI DEP, Local Government Engineering Department, LGED. His title is Northern Bangladesh Integrated Development Project, NOBI.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, and thank you all for inviting me as I am in PRL. I am in PRL in last July, but I am very much fortunate that I have been invited here. If you go to our past experience, there is no project in LGED that links urban and rural. I like to share some ideas that when I have preparing my project documents and progress reports, I have big problem with our EMS system. Environmental EMS system means electronic management system of our projects, because no projects links urban and rural. So the whole module has to be changed, and we have to pay double to the programmer. Actually, this is a very good project, and we can see that how this project helped us in achieving some targets in HDG, as well as some logical framework embedded in our project guideline. This is our project objective. You see that expand access to rural and urban infrastructure. Our strategy was to build some rural infrastructure which has been you know, has a very good which was a study was made in 2010, and from that study we have selected some areas and some Paurasabhas that has been they have selected that some rural infrastructure has to be built, reconstructed or rehabilitated, and expand the access of urban and rural infrastructure and service delivery and linkage to urban and rural infrastructure. How it impacts, we will see later on. You can see that we have 14 districts and 117 Upazila and 18 Paurasabha targeted, and our area coverage is 18.4% of whole Bangladesh. And you can see that around 13 Paurasabha, which has been promoted from B to C or A to B or from direct C to A, due to intervention of the projects of JICA, Novidab project. This is our components. Actually, I don't go in detail because there are some, you know, some 69 roads or some ghats, bridges, culverts, etc. like that. But there are 4 components we have been targeted here. And key performance indicator that it is a MPRC project. You know, in MPRC means Municipal Performance Review Committee. We targeted first phase, second phase, and third phase. And in every phase, the Paurasabha has been given some indicators, and they have to, if they achieve the indicator, they can go to the second phase. This is actually the main concept of this project. And that's why, and the similar project has been taken in the urban area also and rural area also, so that we can compare that how much synergy and the you know, the impact is coming from both the sectors. There are first phase and second phase and the third phase. I can there is a ceiling that 20% money will be given in the first phase, and 40% will be when they go to the second phase, they will get the 40%, and in the third phase they will get another 40%. This is actually the ceiling of the money. And this is the actual activities and the task of the progress, you know. you see the activities that gap means gender action plan consistent with Novidev guideline, they will get full mark. Poverty reduction action plan approved by the Paura Sabha, they will get full mark, otherwise 0 mark. Gap approved by the Paura Sabha, full mark. PDP, actually all Paura Sabha has to get a Paura Sabha development plan. It is a big, huge book, and it includes all the geological, physical, and all the characteristics of each Paura Sabha. And they have already been revised for the second phase. And I am very unfortunate that I can show that books here. It will be very, very rich paper. And after they prepare the PDPP, that will be approved by the TLCC. After PDPP approval by the Paura Sabha Parishad, they then discuss with the FGD, and O&M budget should be incorporated in the PDPP. And after PDP, Paura Sabha Development Plan, there are 11 steps to be followed, and all these should be followed for going to the next phase of the Nobida project. We have challenges. The Paura Sabha, when we started our project, the Paura Sabha mayors, Paura Sabha staffs and stakeholders we have challenge on UGIP. Also, O&M budget has not much at that time. Gender action plan and was not transparent to them. The slum dwellers, it is very difficult for the slum dwellers to understand all the project concept, and it is very difficult for them. The PRAP is challenging for revenue collection, also transparency in financial and accountability. We have faced some problem. The sustainability, if we go for the sustainability, above 80% of the Paura Sabha are able to collect their revenues, and we can see that 13 Paura Sabha has already been promoted from A to B or B to C. They are also gained their improvement in planning and budgeting, and also the standing committees like TLCC, WNCC, other committees are performing now, especially in the Novidev areas. And e-governance activities, computerized tax billing system, accounting system, trade license, in fact, all this e-governance system is working now. I'm going to go for the synergy of the project. There are 128 schemes has been taken, and from them 400 million has been taken actually for urban and rural linkage components. We have a terminal survey, and terminal survey indicates that in Rampur region, the increase in household income in 2004 was 2.56 lakh per annum, but now in 2019 it is around 2.56 from 1.7. So the growth is around 8.5%. In Mymensingh region, the increase about 1.29 to 1.91. The growth is around 8.2%. In Rampur, you see the trade licensing has been increased, and the annual budget also been increased, and it is around in Mymensingh region it is around 33%, and in Rampur it is 27%. If we go for the urban transport AADT increased from annual average travel time. It is decreased 19% in the Rampur and Mymensingh region, and drainage congestion. It is before survey it was around 75%, but after completion of the project it decreased to 75%. Solid waste management, we conducted our baseline survey in 7 Paura Sabha. It was 1.76 metric ton per month, but it increased to 2.88 ton per month in 10 Paura Sabha. Similarly, in Mymensingh region, it is around 1.76 ton for 6 Paura Sabha. Now it is 3 ton for 8 Paura Sabha. And people satisfaction, actually, I like to replicate all the people satisfaction. It is around 4.7 if we grade from 1 to 5. And slaughterhouse street lighting in Rampur region, it is around 46% coverage, and in Mymensingh region it is 31%. I can show some pictorial of my project interventions. The women's section is there, and you see we have supplied some rickshaw vans, and it is urban-rural linkage concept. Actually, the road originated from the district, actually connected to the rural areas also. Our from targeted Paura Sabha, we connected rural area, and we have a very good opportunity to see that our Professor Samsul Haq sir also invited here for community-based road safety, and we have formed one committee for each Paura Sabha, where we call it CBRS, community-based road safety, and they are working together to make people understand the road safetyness of the road safetyness and other issues. So I think this is my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammad Shahriar, for being on time and presenting what you have done in Novidep project in the last couple of minutes. So with that, we are just at the end of our discussion made by our panelists on 4 projects. We have heard their presentations on making the national spatial data structure, and we have heard how JICA is assisting us in developing metros from the project inception to the not only project operation but also more going beyond. We are really happy that is we have seen presentations regarding defining smart city, not only a techno-based or AI-based city. We are meaning smart city should also be resilient and safe. And we don't mean that is that this resilience is only an issue for urban areas. It should also be rural areas. That's why there comes the question for urban and rural linkage and connectivity. So I must thank JICA for identifying these 4 wonderful projects, which are not only interrelated among them, but also very much related with the broader theme of this entire conference that we had been for the last that is on spatial planning for Bangladesh, sharing achieving the local and global commitments. Our local and global commitments are there for safety, security, connectivity, sustainability, and all other these things. So before I go for the open discussion and taking a maximum 4 questions, let me just summarize the things what has happened here. That is, we are talking about a spatial planning for the entire city or entire country, but for that spatial planning, we need spatial data. With that spatial data, we can identify the right places for building our cities and making infrastructural development in our villages. And we have to connect them, identifying or reflecting on the urban-rural linkage issues. And once we have identified these things, we must make our cities and our infrastructure resilient, safe, and all these things. And once we have made a resilient city, there comes the question of mobility and accessibility. We are happy that is JICA has shared their experience. Now let me take one question from the floor for each of our panelists, if you have. And may I request you to pose your questions regarding the looking forward. Well, we have seen what we have done so far, what JICA has done, what our experts and our colleagues have done so far. Now, how do you want to look forward beyond these things, what has happened so far? Is there any question? Maybe our volunteer can help to take the questions. You can have your question to Mr. Okatani regarding spatial data infrastructure, looking forward. Yes, please. Sir.
Thank you all for presentations. My question is regarding this geodata. I am Professor Dr. Mohammad Abdul Mohit from BUAT, retired professor. My question is to the data, Dr. Otakani. Okay. The geospatial data that you are creating or storing for the purpose of development, what type of security? I mean, nowadays we hear that data is going to be very insecure, is going to be leaked, it's going to other parties that may be misused. So what type of security things that you want to incorporate within that data framework so that we can be assured that nothing harm will be done to the country or to any part of the country?
Thank you. Thank you very much for your question. So about the security, we mainly we work with governmental organization. So basically, the governmental organization think about national security, the security of the government, and maybe it depends on each ministry's situation. And also, Japan has a similar cases, and Japan also has a similar legal scheme, NSDI Act, and according to its act, Japan has a long-term plan, and long-term plan also treats about the security of national, and with that kind of scheme, each organization will think about that, I suppose. And also, security relates each person, like personal privacy or something like that. Also, the government will have to think about that thing. That's my thought.
Thank you,
very
Mr.
much.
Okatani. The issue is they have developed, what my understanding, they have developed the data infrastructure, and now it's part on the government side to go forward and look into the issues before the entire system is made operational and all these things. But I'm sure that is you will also be sharing your Japanese experience while developing the security policy and all other things in NSDI policy.
Actually, Japan also develop security concern or something like that. But this is Bangladesh, so in Bangladesh, maybe the government think or concern the thing relating the issue here. So the Bangladesh government will treat that, I suppose.
So with that, we go to the way forward part for your session. That is, it's not only enough that is making the infrastructure, these things. So we should look forward for the security of the spatial data and accessibility, all other these things. Now, may I
Thank you very
take
much.
any other question from the floor? Yes. I'd like to request to introduce yourself and then pose the question.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the floor. This is Dr. Razia from BISS under Ministry of Foreign Affairs. For the last 2 days, we have we have the opportunity to hear about the smart city development of Bangladesh, and it's very lovely that we have JICA today, and they actually portray their visions. And we have already heard about, 4 presentations from different angles. So I have 2 specific questions to the presenter 2 and presenter 3. The second presentation is covered by Mr. Shumon, and he talked about the metro rail, which is I believe it is a very visionary project of Bangladesh government after Podda Bridge, and it is a part of, I would say, aims and aspirations of the local people, because it's very soon it's going to open. So I have a specific questions to you that obviously it is a wonderful project that we are aiming for, but the thing is like I live in Farmgate, and you know that until Khamarbari it's been already opened, the metro rail. So once the people get off from there, so there is a traffic jam. Once we used to go through the office, so before it takes half an hour for me, now it takes like an hour or 40 minutes. That means I think whenever we have like such kind of mega project or gala project, we have to think about the other side as well. For instance, the feeder road and all other infrastructure development, side by side pedestrian facilities and all these things. And another one is, I think, to sustain this kind of mega project, we have to have we have to have some kind of like awareness program for the general people, so that they can utilize it very properly. And obviously there is no substitute of the enhancing the literacy rate and the education program. And my second question directed to the presenter 3, that Mr. Rafiq. He has brought out a very, I would say, timely topic, that is on urban resilience. Resilience is not only directed to like, it's related to not only related to infrastructure, but a wide range of issues. And he also focused on the basically earthquake. Definitely it is a very timely topic, because we have witnessed the situation of Turkey, recently Morocco, and also Libya. And even from the last 2 months, we have witnessed earthquake at about 4.2 Richter scale.
So our colleague from ministry, I think we have got your point. Basically, you just made 2 observations.
Yeah.
One is that is metro rail's construction part is fine, but since it has been half opened,
Yeah.
so the other issues, new issues has developed. I think in that area we should work together, and in that part actually it comes a question of co-creation, which perhaps might not happen in Tokyo or in other part. And another thing is the building safety and resilience.
Exactly.
So these 2 points have been covered. Maybe I will not request you to respond further, because we are running short of time.
Thank you so much, sir.
Is there any further question for regarding the urban-rural linkage issue? I think someone had raised his hand. If it is for Mr. Mohammad Shahriar, please raise the questions. Otherwise, please give any other participants.
Thank you. I'm Tapas Kumar Bala, Managing Director, Surveytech Consultancy Limited. My question is to Mr. Okatani. Thank you for working with Survey of Bangladesh, for your support. They are delivering a good accuracy related service. But I want to talk about course station. You already established 6 course stations in Bangladesh, and also going to establish another 70. Okay, fine. But we cannot use it perfectly. And 5 out of 6 is shut down now. And what will be in future if you install 70 across the Bangladesh, and after sometimes it may not work perfectly? So what is your policy? Yes, you are installing course across the Bangladesh, hand over to SOB, it's fine. Then what will be from our side? What can we use it perfectly? Because you just hand over.
How SOB can continue and work with these stations? How SOB can participate? Keep them operational. Are they trained, or if there is any problem issue, then can SOB fix it, or they have to call you again?
Thank you very much. Thank you for your question. Basically, financial matter is a matter of Bangladesh government,
Okay,
we
fine.
think.
Yeah,
And as you mentioned, the maintenance is very important. And Actually, the purpose of Genius Course project is to realize precise positioning scheme in Bangladesh nation. But also, the project will teach Survey of Bangladesh about how to maintain the system either.
So you've got your answer. Now the last question, Mr. Ansar Hussain. I think you can say from here just to save time. And just put your questions briefly.
I'll just make a question whether it's worth to incorporate it into the system of connecting the rural and urban. So I am Khandakarim Ansar Hussain. I used to teach in Buet and now I teach in different universities part-time, and a consultant as well, national consultant. So urban and rural, we have seen the in a natural situation, the whole country and 70% of the country is inundated generally without any extra flooding. It is just natural flood, I mean. And in the extra flooding, it becomes higher. And in all the time, the roads are very badly disturbed and damaged. So how about considering the local area alternatives, like making smaller roads, the village roads, with lower capacity roads, I mean, with the stilts at least, so that the water can go down along the side, and the road damage is immediately repaired by the local people the way they have been for long, instead of going for making on stilt. On the earthen mound is a different situation when the flood is restricted and everything is actually disturbed. So how about going to the local road system into the local knowledge? That's it.
Thank you, sir. Actually, we have an mobile maintenance management system, MMT system in LGD office. So whenever we get information that there is some water logging or some disruption, we immediately send our MMT team, mobile maintenance team, to restore that portion or restore that damage. Similarly, we also recommended for our urban portion also to take some initiative to address those issues. In fact, if there is a big flood, all things has been inundated, it is very difficult to address at that time. But after the cessation of the flood water, actually, we always take some action to restore the damaged work or put some, the local interventions, maybe the bamboo bridge or anything like that to reconnect the locality. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammad Shahritriyar, for responding to the question. We'll finish the panel, open discussion right now. Before that, being an urban and transport planner by training, I must restrict myself from asking Mr. Shuman the questions. But still, let me put the observation. That is, when you have made, or as you have said, you just helped to prepare the organogram of DMTCATL. Please be informed, this is our humble suggestion, that is urban and regional planners, they are trained at least in 4 specializations. One of course, housing and land use planning. Another, mostly growing, that is the transportation planning, that includes transport management and modeling. And third one is disaster management and climate change issues. And fourth one is the regional planning. So in your DMTCL organogram, likewise in DTC organogram, when the transport experts, their conditions for application as transport experts are only kept as civil engineering or mechanical engineering. The expertise of the urban and transportation planners, their expertise in modeling and associated issues where local capacities can help are untapped. So may I request you, if you have opportunities, to include the urban and regional planners to contribute for DMTCL and DTCL. Similarly, for my colleague from Rafiqul Islam, through you to JICA, that is, when we are thinking about licensing of our introduction of licensing of our experts and also BBRA, there should be proper representation of the planners, because there is skills set requirement you have already mentioned, but they should be given opportunities to, exercise their skills. And of course, in LGED, there are scopes that since you are right now obviously working for urban sector and also rural sectors for your UGP and other projects, there are planning issues. We will be really hopeful and wish that you will include the skill set and contributions of the planners, so that your plan, not only your plans or your projects become sustainable, but it becomes really helpful for the nation, and also it can contribute more towards sustainability. With these words, let me finish my part. Now let me hand over the mic to Miura-san. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Professor Musre and respected speakers, for sharing your valuable knowledge and experiences, and also showed how Bangladesh and JICA, together with the partners, have been working together, and then how we can work more. So kindly join me, big hand to the moderator and then speakers, please. Thank you very much. So now, ladies and gentlemen, the session is approaching to the end. Now I'm honored to invite today's chief guest, Dr. Shamsul Alam, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of Planning, to deliver his closing remarks. Honorable Minister of State, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, BIP, for inviting me in this session. As you said, I am the chief guest of this session. But anyway, I got a chance to hear what the technical papers they presented. Of course, the issue is very important, no doubt. We want to make a living, resilient, safe, while we live in urban areas. But one thing I have in mind, just I don't understand so many of your technical things, your condition of soil structure, how that structure affects construction of buildings and all this, very much technical, no doubt. One thing that cropped up in my mind hearing all this, may I ask those who particularly, of course, no question asking, we already left that chair. One thing crop up in mind that when JICA actually went with this kind of big project, mega project, very useful project, have you had discussion with the residents or those who will be using these facilities, even after opening of metro partially or partly, whatever you say, and before taking steps to go with the other one, other metro parts, say metro 1 or 3 or whatsoever, have you had sessions with the residents of the city or those who will be using? Because why this question came up in mind, one asked a question that after getting down from the metro and coming to the ground, he has to wait for hours maybe to get to other place where he want to go, because of when you plan with the metro rail, you have not planned with the supporting services when he will be outside or when he will be coming out from the metro rail services. So what I want to say, any physical planning of this nature, how you actually involve people, those who will be using these facilities. My urge would be actually before taking any this type of big technical projects, why not you go with actually discussing with people, those who will be traveling or using these services? That question came up in mind because we find now many associate problem. We ride the service from one station to other, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes. But to come to there and after getting down to go to the destination again, they fall in big trouble. Why do you integrate one planning with the other associated services that will be required to serve the passengers or the users? Anyway, this came up in mind because one actually raised this question. I think the whole issue is very important in terms of spatial planning. We need data, we need technical data, we need data on soil structure, data on maybe other engineering side you just referred to. But always we should do planning in an integrated way, involving all the stakeholders, those who will be using or will be getting the benefit of any project. So what I heard, very much useful, as you said, in planning we need data. We need data on the soil conditions, soil structure, engineering things, on design and all these things. So in physical planning, as I feel, I never go with any course, urban planning or anything like that. But what I understand, any planning should be comprehensive one. Considering all the physical and aspects, all the aspects of users, how they will use it, how they foresee it, what problems they will be facing. So whole planning should be in a comprehensive way, in an integrated way, involving the physical planners, involving the social workers, involving other areas, involving how we handle whether these kind of big projects like our metro rail, how this affect utility services on the ground, how you handle it, we don't know really how you manage this or how this is going with now, I don't know. Whether you have to remove the serious system, whether you had to remove other services, utility services like telephone wires and other things. So as I understand, as a planner, I'm an economic planner really, I don't understand this kind of technical planning if I say very honestly. So certainly whole planning need to be integrated, that I understand. If it is spatial, fine. If it is if the plan is from, if plan we go with not from top-down approach, following top-down approach, or we go with regional planning, or all require actually participation of the users, participants of the beneficiaries who will be getting benefits from any kind of project. So with these few comments, I should stop because again, I heard these technical things, I enjoyed. I think very many data requirement there is. We need to create data hub for this, and we need to go with the latest out of the technologies to give the benefit to the people. And material, of course, is out of the state technology used, no doubt. It's ticketing system, your safety system, quite high standard, no doubt. After using this, we can say that. So whether you also train people of this country to take over when you leave the project or when after finishing the project period, whether our people can take up immediately. So I thank JICA for coming up with this mega project, which is very much useful, no doubt. Apparently this helps reduce congestion, crowding, no doubt. So I don't know how you actually train our people. You said you go with co-creation of knowledge. If it is so, whether you establish a training institute here to go on with training of our own people, those who will be able to handle this kind of mega projects. So I have no idea, so I am saying this. So I would urge you need to create our own member of this country who will be using this, who will be maintaining this, and if necessary, in future, who can create this kind of infrastructure themselves. So again, I thank the JICA who supported this kind of projects. Not only this kind of project, you also supported this seminar also, as I understand. So you are our good partner. Though your all approaches, I understand, take very pricey, you think very costly, I know, but to ensure quality, you do that. Among all development partners, JICA's support is very much costly and expensive, as I understand, if I'm not wrong. But anyway, I know you do that because you want to ensure highest quality. So I thank you all. Thank you organizers for inviting me. So I look forward to see you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of State, for your precious for your precious presence today, and also the sharing your valuable insight, also your observation of the today's session. So now I'm honored to invite a BIP representative to hand over the conference gift to the today's chief guest, special guest, and then speakers. So may I invite Professor.
Please, up here.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is we come to the end of our JICA session. We sincerely hope that today's session provided an opportunity to obtain ideas on the role of the planning, effective approach, and then way forward for smart city development in Bangladesh. We would like to express our sincere appreciation again to the respective guests, moderator, speakers, and the audience for sharing your precious time with us. So we look forward to our continued and further partnerships. So let me close this JICA session. Onek Donobad. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable State Minister, so Ministry of Planning, and dear respected audience. We have a proud moment now. We did not announce, but we will announce now. Bangladesh Institute of Planners is going to sign an MOU between BIP and Planning Institute of Australia. It's really a great honor that the President of Planning Institute of Australia is traveled so long only to attend this conference. So I would like to take the opportunity to invite Darren to take the stage seat. I would also like to request the representative from Malaysian Institute of Planners, Shafi, would you kindly come? So dear sir, so we have established formal partnership with Malaysian Institute of Planners, and today we are going to sign the MOU with Australian Institute of Planners. So we, with the support and coordination from Commonwealth Association of Planners, we could make this success. And the reason we, and the main reason that the planning system in Malaysia is really much organized. The way they are delivering the whole planning thing, national plan, regional plan, and the local plan is much organized. And of course, Australia is much advanced. And that's why BIP, we would like to learn from our friends, and we would like to develop some kind of knowledge partnership so that Bangladeshi planners, not only the planners, but also the government machineries, we can bring knowledge and expertise. So that's the objective, and we are taking the advantage with your honor. We would like to sign the MOU. So thank you so much. So may I request both presidents to start the signing? It's really a proud honor. Like BIP turned the age of 50. So in the age of 50, so we have developed the formal partnership between Malaysian Institute of Planners and then Planning Institute of Australia. It's really a great honor. It shows the friendship between Malaysia and Australia and Bangladesh, and the Malaysian Institute of Planners and Bangladesh Institute of Planners, Planning Institute of Australia, and Bangladesh Institute of Planners. Maybe we can take a photo all together. Musle bhai. And also the BIP Executive Board member, I am requesting please join us to take a photo. And also our founder president, Professor Ghulam Rahman.
প্রেসিডেন্ট স্যার জানে নাকি?
So now we would like to take 15 minutes tea break, and we are taking this 15 minutes to prepare the stage for our honorable speaker, the chief guest for the closing session. So please remain around. So we will start sharply in 15 minutes. Thank you so much.
Check.